Welcome to the Chapter 1 podcast, your inside look at the people powering Charlotte's business scene. Real stories, real entrepreneurs right here in the Queen City. Today we're here with Carl Steinmann with Varsity Zone HVAC. Carl, we're excited to have you on the show. Let's start at Chapter 1. How did you make your way to Charlotte?
Well, I'm a transplant.
Okay.
It was during COVID. I lived up in New York, and we were led here. It just felt perfect. I was traveling with my daughter, looking at colleges, and we drove up 77 through a lake, and it was like, wow, I need to move here. And I called my wife. I said, we need to check out Lake Norman. She goes, I know all about it. And we came down here and met a realtor, found a house really quickly, and I moved all my high school kids down from New York. And everyone thrives. It's just absolutely thriving. We love it. We're not moving back.
That's great to hear. So you started in New York. So tell me about growing up life. What was that like, and how did you make your way into being a professional?
Sure. My father is an entrepreneur and has owned many businesses, mostly delis, but laundromats. He owned a rent-a-car business and was always working on something new. So
All in New York?
All in New York.
Delis and laundromats in New York.
Delis and
wild.
laundromats. Yes. And I worked for him for, since I was 5. I was folding newspapers for the New York Times every Saturday morning. And then I basically just, he helped me get a job as a carpenter for a framing company. So I, got into more of the trades through building and learned, the craft of carpentry, and then just got into more real estate flips as I got older and started investing in real estate because my dad was doing that as well. So that got me on the path, and but then I didn't listen to it. I graduated college and took a role as a sales guy for a printing company, and then I spent the next 20 years in corporate America.
Sales.
And I learned the craft of sales, and which it's not what I thought it was. It was definitely relationship management and serving others is what I learned or took away from it because I was very successful at it. And but I got burnt out. The company had been bought a couple of times that I worked for, and I didn't own any equity. And at any one of those, we could say exits, but I was always rehired. And then during COVID, things changed a lot. I was no longer in an office. I was working from home. I was on airplanes every week, and decided I can't do this any longer. So when I moved down here, it was the mission to start my own business.
So that started. So the move was synonymous with also starting the company. Okay, so you moved to Charlotte and you started Varsity Zone HVAC. Tell me about that transition for you, moving from sales to entrepreneurship.
Sure. Well, it was. I find it was divine because also when I moved down here, I really tapped into my faith, which was huge. I mean, now it was more of an obligation when I was in New York, was going to church, and coming down here, I read the Bible daily. I go to Bible study.
Amen, brother.
And it's had a major impact on my wife and I, who now works for a church. So it's we really tapped into that, and just having faith to start something new. So it's been a new beginning since moving to Charlotte, and Charlotte's been great to us. It's really opened its arms to us, and we're just blessed to be here. So it's, it all kind of comes together down here, and you need to have a lot of faith and fortitude and perseverance to start a business for sure.
It really does. It really does, because I went through a similar experience, and I feel like it really does give you a different perspective on the Lord providing for you financially, because when you have a job, you're going, okay, most of the time it's, I kind of hate this, but I'm doing it, and you know exactly how much you're going to make. Whereas when you're like, I'm going to go out on my own, you really understand the whole, all right, Lord, like, you got to provide. And if you do, it's kind of, I'm going to do what I can. Obviously, I'm going to do my part, be a good steward of what you've given me. But ultimately, I'm relying on you. And it just really, I found that to be a really growth portion of my life when I stepped out and started doing my own thing.
100%.
Okay, so those earlier years, and again, this is COVID, so this is about 5-6 years ago now. How did you get things off the ground? Like, what was marketing like for you in those early stages?
So Varsity Zone's a franchise, and the company that started Varsity Zone is called Horsepower Brands, and this is the 9th home service brand that they've launched, and a fairly young company, but I met them when I was looking to acquire a company. I wanted to buy something existing, and then I met the folks from Horsepower, and basically it's a plan, right? You just follow the plan. And my wife and I had owned a franchise up in New York. It was a kickboxing gym. And awesome. My wife ran it, and we actually bought one that was had already been established, but it was failing. And credit to my wife. She turned this thing around. It was amazing. And then COVID shut it down for 7 months up in New York, which was tough. It's still that business is still open. We did sell it.
Okay.
So it made it. And I think I attribute that to the perseverance of my wife, who just figured it out, which was tough. It was hard. So I had great experience with the franchise and the plan to execute, because a franchise is really just there to support you. It's still your business. You operate it. You manage the P&L. You hire the people. Right. They'll give you tools. Mm-hmm. So we've got kind of a marketing plan. We've got a CRM system. We've got everything you really would need. Coaches, and I'm a big believer in coaching. So talking with a coach every week, keeping you on track, making sure you're understanding the numbers, and anything they can do to help. So as far as the question, marketing, that piece has been I think the hardest part.
It often is.
Yeah.
It's often the hardest.
I thought it would be, you always go in there like, oh, you just do this. Digital.
Everybody needs what I'm providing.
Right, exactly. Just get my brand out there. So, of course, social media, Google and Meta, and you can spend all this money, but at the end of the day, we've had an incredibly successful first year. And most of it's been through just talking to people and networking. I don't sell anything. I just connect with people, build relationships, build friendships. Because especially in the comfort business that I'm in, it's all about just service, and making people feel comfortable, and that's the goal. And then of course hire a team that can execute, and make sure I'm very deliberate on who I hire. Hiring people with character, have the same value system. And I think that comes through in the homes. So, we do really well once we're there. And then, the goal is to keep customers for forever.
So let's talk about what you're actually doing. I don't want to gloss over that. So HVAC company, what does that look like as far as what is it that you're doing for your clients?
So it starts with maintenance. Every home has an HVAC system, and, they're really expensive and really important. It's the heart of your home, right? And it's keeping you comfortable in the winter, and of course in the summer when you need it most. So taking care of your system is really important. So just going through, making sure it's all of the ampage, voltage, and all the critical components, inspection, making sure that it's going to operate when you need it the most. And then, of course, we do service when something breaks down, and then, of course, install. So we're doing, I'd say most of our revenue is tied to new systems. Systems, manufacturers will give you a 10-year warranty. So that's all they're investing in that system. 10 years, that's it. And but my home, my system's 23 years old, but we care for it. And they can last. You can't necessarily bank on it, but they can last if you take care of it. So it starts with the maintenance of your system for sure.
So obviously plenty of other HVAC companies, even just in Charlotte, but what's something unique about you guys that might set you apart from different HVAC companies?
Well, we're owner operated. There's a lot of big brands in this market, and they're private equity, right? So they're, and I came from a company that was public that went private, but it was owned by Blackstone.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, the thing you'll hear in corporate is shareholder value, right? That doesn't really help your clients,
Right.
So having a owner operated company that's most of my clients I know, being that that reliable and company that will always that will be there and just back up anything that we do, rather than just trying to increase the bottom line.
What is it that you find that you love most about doing what you're doing now?
I think it's the guys.
Yeah.
I mean, that part I really didn't think about before I got in, but I love the team. I mean, I've been out there in the field with them, helping them when we get really busy. And, I turn into the lunch guy sometimes, which is just keeping them fed, so they don't have to take a big break. I end up, loading the truck with trash or old ductwork, things like that. But anything to help, right? So I want to show them that, where I'm not a field tech, I'm not going out there to service someone's system.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of the back office and, casting the vision, making sure we're on track, managing the numbers. But I want to show them that I'll roll up my sleeves and get in the fire with you. So I think just seeing the camaraderie we've built, and the trust we've built together has been it's been a lot of fun.
I'm curious to know, just because there's obviously everything is advancing now. I mean, like, we're at a completely new place, even from 2020, when COVID happened. What have some of these advances done? Like, have any of them affected you? Is AI like a part of what you're doing now? Have the kind of modern advancements changed what the approach you're taking as a entrepreneur, but also as just an HVAC guy?
100%. I'm a kind of an AI junkie. I love it.
Really?
It's so fun. I mean, yes,
it is pretty awesome.
It is pretty cool. I mean, and I use it often. I created a coach for myself just so I can bounce ideas off
So
of
that's
when I'm
what
in
you
the
meant
car.
by coaching is
that plus a real life coach, but I've trained it and uploaded videos of this is how I want you to respond and be hard on me, because the thing about like ChatGPT,
they're
it's going to
so
tell
nice.
you what
It's
they're going to tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah,
You're
I feel pretty good about
You're
myself.
so awesome, right? So I try to have that tough love. Like when I grew up doing sports, so I always had really tough coaches that pushed me. So I try to have my coaches emulate that as well. But how we're using it, we just introduced a tool that it's an app, right? And you can take pictures and videos with it. It records everything. It's an AI recorder.
Okay.
So I'll go to a home, take a look at the equipment, take pictures, talk about what the findings are. So when we're complete, we always take pictures anyway and do a full like written report. But now with this AI tool, it does it all for us. So it'll take a picture of a label of an HVAC piece of equipment. It knows exactly what it is. And with the pictures, it'll say, it'll basically give you a summary. That's it's bringing transparency to our clients, because you're going into a crawl space or an attic that homeowners just don't go into. So how to you hear the stories. You hear the stories of someone coming out there and saying, well, you're going to need a new system, and that they don't really know what that means, right? You're taking the word of someone. So now we're trying to bring that full transparency to the homeowner to be like, this is what we're finding here. You can see this. And then you'll have the AI summary that really just gives, if you ignore this issue, this is what may happen, right? Wow. So like something like a capacitor, such a cheap part that, but if you ignore it, it's going to blow your motor. Yeah. And then, now you're talking about a lot more money, right? Yeah. So it'll educate the client. And that's what we're trying to be, is that company that is not just selling, but more taking an educational approach of, all right, here's what our findings are. It's supported by, the pictures or videos that we've taken. Here's what our recommendations are. And then you find solutions that might be, that might fit their budget.
That's awesome. We were actually filming with an HVAC company one time, and I was up in the attic, and I accidentally stepped off of like the whatever I don't know a whole lot about attics, so I could be saying this all wrong, but like where the wooden part that you're supposed to stand on is into the fluffy like part, and I didn't realize there was no support there at all. My foot went straight down and just like through the person's roof into like their bedroom, and then pulled my leg out really casually, and I was like, I think I did something wrong. And he was like, did you step off the edge? And I'm like, yeah. And so I was like, dude, you didn't tell me, so it's not my fault. No, he was super apologetic, and it was funny, and we recovered for it. So
it happens.
I'm glad to hear from an HVAC guy that he sounded like he's like, that happens, don't worry about it. So it made me feel a little bit better. So for you, if you could talk to maybe not yourself, but maybe a person who's kind of new into the world of entrepreneurship, starting their own thing, maybe they've done something similar and bought into a franchise. What kind of advice would you give that person who's just stepping into this world? Maybe in a similar industry, but maybe not.
Yeah, I think it's well. Number one, it does come down to you, right? So if you open a business, obviously you always have that level of where you believe you're going to go, right? And you're going to get there, but there's going to be that reality that sets in when the cash starts running low, that things that you think would work, like marketing, are not working, and things get slow. But then fighting through it, right? It's, I think just having the stomach for it it's not for everyone. So just taking that one step every single day to move forward. And that's something that I've been focused on, is just the next step, take another step.
I think it was some of the best advice I got when I was starting my company, and going through it was just, I had a mentor, and he was just like, this is normal. And he kept telling me, because every, you have those early months where you're like, nothing happened this month. I didn't make it. Money was just going down. And he was like, hey, this is just part of it. Like, this is all part of it. You've done, you're still doing the right things. You still believe in what it is you're doing. Just keep going. And I think if I didn't get that advice, I would have just thought I was doing something wrong and stopped at some point. So I think that's perfect advice. So how can somebody find you if they're looking around for you here in Charlotte? Like, how can they get in contact with you?
Sure. Well, best spot to go is our website, and that's varsityzone.com. And you can go to Mooresville-NC, because there's another location down in Charlotte, which I communicate with the owner down there often. And then, of course, find us on Instagram, on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn. Many ways to get a hold of us, and you can reach us at 704-360-4228, and that's direct to our shop.
Awesome. Well, Carl, thank you so much for coming on our show. This is Carl Steinmann with Varsity Zone HVAC, and we are the Chapter 1 podcast.